No whisper. No glance for privacy.
Just 6 words that sliced through every memory of me carrying him when he couldn't walk, feeding him when he was sick, working graveyard shifts so he could have daylight soccer practice.
I didn't cry. I didn't argue.
I simply set my half-full flute on a passing tray, smoothed the silk dress I'd bought secondhand because it reminded me of my mother's old photos, and walked past the rose arch I'd helped pay for, past guests who suddenly found their napkins fascinating, past the life I'd spent 34 years building for him. That night I drove home alone, radio off, windows cracked, letting the November wind burn tears I refused to acknowledge. By sunrise I understood something permanent. Love that must audition for respect is no longer love. It's collateral. I'd raised Marcus single-handed after his father died in a factory accident when Marcus was 10. I was 29, grieving, terrified, and suddenly the only adult in every room. Double shifts at the steel mill, triple shifts when overtime came, sleeping in snatches on the couch so I could hear him breathe. I packed lunches with notes folded inside, attended every parent-teacher conference alone, cheered at wrestling meets from the bleachers with coffee gone cold.
I never asked for credit. I thought sacrifice was the mother tongue. Somewhere he learned a different one, entitlement. His bride, now wife, Elena arrived like a lifestyle brand, private college degree, family yacht club membership, Instagram grid full of golden hour perfection. She smiled sweetly at holiday tables while quietly cataloging everything I didn't have, the right neighborhood, the right car, the right last name. Marcus began echoing her.
My thrift became cheapness. My reliability became small thinking. My pride in paying every bill on time became hoarding control. The wedding was their coronation. I covered nearly half, quietly, because I wanted him to have the day he pictured. I stood in the back during portraits because Elena said the front row was for immediate family.
I smiled when cousins asked why I wasn't at the head table. I told myself it didn't matter. Until it did. The morning after the reception my phone rang at 8:03.
Marcus.
No greeting.
I need the lake cabin deed and the brokerage statements. Elena's parents want to review them before they release the trust funds for our condo.
No apology. No how are you? Just paperwork.
I sat at the kitchen table. I'd refinished myself when he was 13 and felt something settle, quiet, final, like the last page of a book I'd reread until the spine cracked.
I'll look for them, I said. He exhaled, satisfied.
Today would be good. I opened the fireproof box under the stairs, ran my thumb across the envelope that held 28 years of overtime, skipped Christmases, and 1 parent graduations.
Then I closed the lid again.
When he arrived 48 hours later, Elena waited in their leased Range Rover. He looked impatient, already checking his watch. The documents, he asked before crossing the threshold. I gestured to the couch. Sit for a minute. He sighed, dramatic, practiced.
Mom, I'm slammed. Honeymoon's in 2 days. Can we not do this now? I stayed standing.
Before we talk about papers, I need to talk about the wedding.
He rubbed his temples.
I was stressed. The photographer was behind, the cake was melting, Elena's dad kept asking about money. You told me to leave.
In front of everyone.
He laughed once, short and sharp. You're making it bigger than it was.
I panicked. I'm sorry.
Can we move on? I studied the boy I'd carried through nightmares, driven through blizzards to tournaments, watched graduate magna cum laude while I clapped until my palms stung.
I've moved on from a lot, I said evenly.
Double shifts so you could play club hockey. Eating ramen so you could have new gear.
Standing alone at every milestone because your father wasn't there and I was working. I've moved past all of it.
What I can't move past is you deciding I was disposable the moment you got what you wanted.
His jaw tightened. So this is payback?
Holding the cabin and the brokerage account because I hurt your feelings.
It's about earning what you inherit, I answered.
The cabin isn't a prize for being born my son. It's a trust. And trust requires character.
He stood.
You're unbelievable. I'm consistent, I corrected gently. The same mother who taught you integrity, kindness, and accountability. The one you forgot when convenience arrived.
He left without the envelope. The screen door closed with a firmness that echoed for hours. Silence followed. No calls. No texts. Just absence. I filled it. Sunrise walks along the river trail. Coffee dates with old mill co-workers I hadn't seen in years. Repainting the guest room sage green because I'd always loved the color and never asked permission. I donated his old hockey gear, not in anger, but because it belonged to a chapter that had ended. Word drifted back through relatives, strain in the new marriage. Disagreements over budgets. Elena's parents quietly withdrawing financial promises. Marcus working late, coming home to tension instead of welcome. He appeared one foggy Wednesday evening. No warning. Hair damp from drizzle. Eyes shadowed in a way that reminded me of his father after 12-hour shifts. He stood on the porch like he was waiting for permission to cross the threshold. "I don't know who I became," he said. I stepped aside. "Come inside." He sat at the kitchen table. "Didn't ask for anything. I thought success meant having more," he said quietly. "Bigger house, better car, the right circle. I thought that's what you sacrificed for." "I sacrificed so you could be decent," I answered. "Kind. Honest. The rest was supposed to be details." He looked at his hands. Elena's parents froze the trust disbursement. "She's angry. All the time. I keep replaying the wedding. The way you didn't fight back. The way you just left." "I fought back," I said. "I chose dignity over begging." He nodded slowly. "I don't know how to fix what I broke." "You start by remembering who raised you," I told him. "And by treating her the way you'd want someone to treat me." He stayed 90 minutes. We talked about ordinary things, his work stress, the way the river looked after rain, the old dog next door that still barked at squirrels. No demands. No excuses. When he left he hugged me, brief, uncertain, but real. I watched his headlights fade down the street. The envelope stayed in the box. Not as punishment. As a question. Who will you choose to be when the spotlight is gone? I don't know if he'll ever earn what's inside that envelope. I don't know if his marriage will survive the reflection it's forcing him to see. I only know I finally stopped carrying the weight of his decisions. And in that space I found air I hadn't breathed in decades. If you've ever poured yourself empty for someone who learned to see your giving as their right, listen. You don't owe anyone your peace. Not your children. Not your past promises. Not the version of you that thought love meant disappearing. Sometimes the bravest thing a mother can do is stop holding the hand that keeps pulling her under, and start holding her own. Word count, 800.